doesn't work. You can't do meters or anything without something in there to record to.
Got it.
Okay. You can also record to a USB stick. Okay. I don't know what happens if you have them both going. So you can find that on our
Yeah, well, we like the SD card. It works. We'll stick it into the computer and boom, we just upload it. So yeah.
And it's right now, I think it's set up to do an MP3 when you record. So
Yep, that's fine. That's perfect.
you can also record to the USB drive here. That'll record as a WAV file, really huge.
Big. Yeah.
So that's the recording thing. Yeah. Let's see.
And you said there's a way that we can be checking recording levels up here, or do we have to be looking down here?
No, recording levels, there's this thing called Q, and we haven't talked about that much yet. But, and I'm setting the recording, so I'll be talking, and I want this to record. So I'm going to hit aux 910, make sure the handout's turned up into the recording. If I hit Q here, that's going to bring this meter up here. So I can see I'm flashing at -30. When I look down here and record, I'm flashing at about -30 down there. So those meters match.
Great.
Yeah.
That's very handy not to have to be looking down.
Right.
Yep.
And so basically I could even be looking at this.
You can look at that, yeah.
It's a small
This meter is calibrated the same as this, so if you're hitting 0 up here, you're clipping down there too.
Okay.
It's going to sound really, really nasty. So that's what Q does. Q also puts it in the headphones. So we'll talk a little bit about Q. If you wanted to make sure a certain microphone is on, but you don't want to turn it up in the sound system to check. So, is the piano mic turned on? I don't remember if I turned on the fan of power or something like that. I can grab a set of headphones that Joe's going to have here, and I can hit Q on here without the channel being turned on, and I can hear noise. So if there was noise in here, you'd be able to tell that there was audio on that. So headphone volume, make sure that's turned up too. So that's Q. You can cue a couple of things up if you want to, or you can turn them off.
Awesome.
Phantom power. Does everybody know what phantom power is and why you would use it? People know what a difference between a dynamic mic and a condenser mic is.
Yes.
Okay. We have two different kind of microphones in this system. This is a dynamic microphone. I know that because it has the word dynamic written right here. But what that means is it's a moving coil. So this is like the inverse of a speaker. When you talk into it, there's a piece of plastic with a coil of wire behind it, and it moves in a magnet just like a speaker. That's how it works. That's how they get voltage to the mixer and all that. A condenser microphone is actually two plates that are separated, and when they vibrate, that changes the current and all that. It works on a capacitive kind of thing, but it needs a voltage for that to work. That's what phantom power provides. It also provides power for a mic preamp and all that too in the microphone. Those three microboom mics and the podium mic are all condensers. So to see the phantom power is turned on, I can look here, and there's the little 48 that shows up on the channel strip.
Nice.
If I also select it, you can see a plus 48 here. And when I look here, when I'm setting the mic pre, there's a little plus 48 that shows up there. This is where you change it. Word of warning. A condenser microphone, when you unplug it and it's turned on, will pop very loudly. It can do damage to speakers. So turn it off. You don't have to turn the phantom off, but you have to turn the channel off. Kind of best practices when I'm teaching unsophisticated sound system users, and by that I mean Catholic churches that don't have a mixer. I say plug in all your microphones and do all that before you turn on the sound system. Then the danger of popping and damage is pretty safe. So you have both flavors of microphones. Dynamics are pretty good for close pickup. They don't work real well for far away pickup. They'll sound really nice and warm up close, and they'll get really shallow and thin as you move far away. Condenser microphones work pretty well up close, and they just get quieter as you get away. It doesn't change the tonal quality. Okay. Just as an illustration, these microphones are also condensers. They're getting their phantom power off the batteries in this.
Great.
That's that.
So we don't actually then at this point have any dynamic mics being deployed.
Not right now.
currently,
You
yeah.
have
So,
3 in the drawer.
right. Yeah. So yeah. Okay.
What would those be used best for?
Like a rock band, you got the.
Incidentally, the president uses these mics at his podium. So you see those 2 mics right next to each other? Shure sells that kit. It's called the Presidential Podium Mic Mount Kit.
Wow.
It
Nice.
comes with a little split mic mount. You put 2 SM57s in there with the special presidential windscreen. And he has 2 microphones only for backup.
Huh.
Only one is on at a time. That's that. That's just because Shure was low bid. I don't know. So,
Yep.
this microphone is also a dynamic microphone.
Oh, okay.
And I'm only telling you that because of the way it performs. So I can turn it on and we'll talk about how it's nice and really warm when I'm close to it. But when I'm far away and I'm yelling into it, it's not warm anymore.
Yeah.
Because it's a proximity effect that dynamic mics have. It's also directional. So if I talk on this side, it's not going to be Most of the mics you have are directional. Don't use a lot of omnidirectional microphones in sound systems. Use them in recordings. Your ears are kind of omnidirectional, so a spaced pair of omnidirectional microphones is kind of what your ear hears. So you use them in recordings mostly.
But with these micro boom mics, they have enough of a pattern that for instruments, it would a group of instruments that'll work fine. Yeah.
I believe, and if you want to grab one of the little microphone sheets, it'll actually show you. Right here. Let's see if they have. Do they have polar pattern? They don't.
Probably mentioned it.
It might mention. Well, I know these are cardioids, so
Right.
that just means they're about a 90-degree pickup pattern. A hypercardioid or supercardioid just means it's a tighter pattern. When you do that, you actually get a little lobe on this side. It's a physics thing. So as you decrease this, you open up the back a little bit. But those are cardioids, so they won't pick anything up behind them. So you can kind of think of them as one-sided. Yeah. Any questions about that? Okay. Do you want to move on to microphone technique?
Sure.
Okay.
That's good.
I'm going to have Joshua come over here because we fit his microphone yesterday. So he doesn't need to use the behind the earpiece.
Yeah, I can use one ear.
Yes. So I don't know, Joe, where the other clippy thing is. I found one of those.
Okay.
It was in this case. So if you have any more of these cases, you might have another clip.
Okay, we probably do.
So what I'm going to do,
Not these right now.
No, it's not.
why don't you sit down and look at that one. So the way I like to fit these, you have to tell the pastor, I'm going to touch you now. I had a pastor in my church, I went to go diving in for the ear in her first day, and she freaked out on me. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm used to just, like to fit that. So that's the proper